Okay, guys, welcome into the Sports Wagering University Super Bowl Propcast, powered by the Odds Breakers. I'm your host, Nick Hub. You can find me at Nick Hub Sports on Twitter. I'm joined by some of the sharpest football handicappers in the industry. We'll start below me with the Bengals fan. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm getting nervous, Nick. I just, I don't know. Sunday's 2 days away, but I'm already getting nervous about this. And like I said, I'll probably not be feeling too great Monday morning, one way or the other. So, but hopefully it's because I was celebrating. But
Right.
guys, I'm excited to be on with all you guys. A great group of guys here. Looking forward to talk about the Super Bowl here.
Kiev O'Neill, how we doing, man?
Doing wonderful. A lot going on this week, obviously. Lots of sports this week. We got a big UFC event. We got the college basketball. And, then we have the Super Bowl. What's funny is, we always like to look at the college basketball lines early morning to get you going here. And those are usually pretty beat up lines. I'd say, you know what, your best bet's just to wait right before that game.
Yeah. And Ron, how we doing, Ron?
Oh, we're doing great. Getting a little stir crazy looking at all the props and everything that happens this week. Just have to remember that next week we sleep. Take it easy. Season over. Recharge the batteries. Get ready for the draft. One more game. And the way the last 6 games have gone in the NFL, anything can happen.
Well, hopefully we get another good one here. What we're going to do is start with player props, and we'll go by position, and I'll just toss it around, and we'll start with quarterback. Kyle, do you have any quarterback props that you want to bring up for everybody?
So I'll start with this one, and this is one of those fun cross-sport props. I didn't put a lot of money on this, and I wouldn't suggest anybody else put a lot of money on this one, but I wanted to have something with a quarterback here. Joe Burrow, longest pass completion against Steph Curry, points, rebounds, assists, -1.5 for Steph Curry. I'm going to take Steph Curry on this one. This is Curry Saturday night against the Lakers. And I think all you guys know the Lakers defense is not good. The Lakers have some major problems right now. Golden State likely to put up quite a few points in that game. Steph Curry probably going to have a lot of opportunities to score, get the rebounds, assists, everything. And the Rams defense is set as such that they don't want to give up big plays. And with that pass rush, I don't think Burrow's going to have the time to throw a lot of those really deep passes to Chase. Maybe they could break one. As a Bengals fan, certainly we've seen Chase, Higgins, people like that break short passes into long ones, but I think that's less likely against the Rams than it has been against most teams. So I'm going to take Steph Curry, points, rebounds, assists on Saturday night, -1.5. And like I said, this is a fun bet. Don't bet a lot on this one, but I do think it's probably a pretty good play.
Awesome. Kiev?
So any player prop, right? Throwing it out there.
Yeah, quarterback. Right. Any quarterback?
No, I don't have a quarterback one, so
okay.
I can wait if that's the case.
I'll throw out a quarterback that I like. I like Stafford to rush over 5.5 yards in the past 3 games. In all the playoff games, he's rushed for over that number, and I could see him. I'm also going to do a little bit on anytime touchdown for Stafford as well.
Now
that was plus 900. Earlier in the week.
Now that you mentioned that, I did take that over, but it was I was reserving that. But hey, you know what?
Oh.
You said it, so I'm going to agree with you on that one. Over, I think in the Super Bowl, it's anything goes, and I think things are going to tighten up. These quarterbacks don't want to throw interceptions. I like both rushing totals over personally.
Yeah. Ron, I know you have some.
Yeah, I have one, and it has to do with the number of attempts. I would go Burrow over the number of attempts versus Stafford. We saw Stafford throw just 17 times against Arizona. We saw against a great Tampa run defense. The Rams stayed committed to the run all the way, running Akers 24 times for 48 carries. And then you look at Burrow. This game rests on Burrow's arm more than anything else, in my opinion. And they played Tennessee's defense. They played Vegas's defense. They played Kansas City's defense. Now they're going to go against a tougher defense. A lot of these are correlated plays that I'm going to have throughout our little podcast here. I just think Burrow's going to be forced to throw the ball more times, and that might be a good thing for Cincinnati. But strategy-wise, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ron. I really think they're going to have to try to get it on the edges here and not involve the offensive line as much. So, like it. Is that all the quarterback? We can go right into the running backs for you guys. I'll start it with Mixon prop. I know it's a popular one. All the Mixon props are popular. I like him to get 24.5 receiving yards out of the backfield. I like him on the edges. I do not like his rushing prop. I like that to go under, but I didn't play it yet. I'll wait till Super Bowl Sunday to put that one in.
Makes sense.
And let me give you some stats to back that up too. So Mixon in the past 9 games, he's averaged 58.8 yards on the ground. And then receiving, he's averaged, let me see here. In the playoffs, he's averaged 35.3 yards receiving. 20 yards is his average for longest reception. Also like that. That's at 12.5 for the over. So right now, if you like the overs, it's kind of getting iffy to play them. The value's more on the unders right now because a lot of people are playing the overs, the public coming in now. So, but I like Mixon over 24.5 receiving and over 12.5 as his longest reception.
Yeah, I like that one too. Over his receiving yards, I took that. I think I got 25.5 over total receiving yards. Is that what it's at now that you're seeing, Nick?
There's even some 27.5s out there. So
it's been moving up.
Yeah,
and the way that the Rams need to be beat is through the screen game and through the short pass. If you saw what happened against San Francisco, Elijah Mitchell had 3 catches for 50 yards. You remember that long screen play that Deebo Samuel got? That got him a touchdown. That's how you beat the Rams, really. Running against them is not the best thing to that defensive line, but the short screens are certainly where it's at. So I really like the over in that for sure. And Mixon. Kyle, anything?
Yeah, I'll go next. It's not technically a running back, but it's a rushing yards prop. I like Jamar Chase over 3.5 rushing yards, quite a bit here. If you look at the playoffs so far, he's averages 5.6 yards per carry on 5 carries. And if you're the Bengals, why wouldn't you want to get the ball in Jamar Chase's hands? But with Jalen Ramsey on him, it could be pretty difficult to get it to him through the air consistently. I think it'd be really unwise for the Bengals to not try to get him the ball in the backfield 1 or 2 times here in this game. I actually would think he'll probably get multiple carries in this one. If you're the Bengals against that pass rush, what kind of way would you want to try to keep them off? You do the quick end around, the quick pitch to Jamar Chase, something like that. You want to keep them guessing. I like Jamar Chase over 3.5 rushing yards quite a bit here for this weekend.
Kyle, I played that too. I really like that. I'm going to throw out a crazy one here because I do not like either running back to go over their number. I found Jamar Chase most rushing yards at plus 15,000 at BetMGM.
Oh my goodness.
I thought if he breaks one for 70 yards, he could be the leading rusher. So I threw that one out there.
I think there's value there, man. I like that. I actually took Sonny Michel over 16.5 rushing yards, just too small for him. And it's juiced a little bit at minus 125. I think that's just a little bit too small. But to be honest with you, I don't like the total of rushing yards between both these teams either. I discussed this before you. I got under 197 on the total yards rushing. Now, of course, if the Rams are destroying them, maybe they eat them up on the ground. But, you look at both of these teams, the defenses are going to be pretty stiff. According to the spread, it says that the Bengals are going to be throwing the ball, just like what Ron said before about Joe Burrow with the more attempts. So it kind of goes with that narrative that there's not going to be a ton of rushing yards split up. So under 197.5 for me.
Okay, so I have a lot of things going on, and I agree with a lot of what you guys said, and I hadn't really considered the chase angle. So I like what you said, Kyle, on that one. Before I say this to everybody, shop for lines because, 24 and a half, 25 and a half, 27 and a half. There's even a 205 and a half on total number of rushing yards out there. I played it at 204 and a half, and then it went up to 205 and a half. But most of them are around 197 and a half. And I still think that's a good under. I took a different slant on Mixon. I do like, right now his numbers are holding around 62 and a half to 65 and a half rush yards. The inside pass rush for the Rams and just the inside presence of the Rams tells me that unless Cincy's really going to dominate the game, I think he goes under the total for the running yards. On the other hand, I see Burrow with a rolling pocket or a lot of quick throws. So Mixon should be involved in the passing game. The original number I got, which is long gone, is over 3.5 receptions plus 120. But even at minus 130, minus 125, which is out there now, I think either Mixon goes over that or you throw a little money on the backup running back, Perrine. He has had 6 targets in the last 2 games. Running back throws are not usually that long in distance. So if he has 6 targets, you figure he gets 4 catches out of that. His number's priced at 1.5 right now. Pretty much even. You can even get plus 105, but right in the range of dollar for dollar, 100 to win 100, 20 to win 20, whatever you're comfortable with. I think the running backs are going to be used in the pass game because Burrow's going to have to get that ball out throw, really fast unless he has a rolling pocket. So I think there was one other one I had here. I'm trying to see where it was. Yeah, it's all gone, but I put up the article on the odds breakers about who would have more rushing yards, the Rams or Cincinnati. And it opened at minus 110. It hung around to minus 120. There's only one place that I can see that's minus 130. They're all minus 150 or more. But I do think the Rams run for more yards.
Just to prove your point there, I have Mixon, and in the playoffs has over 4 receptions is what he's averaging. So 3.5 is a good number there. We'll get right into the receivers here. I will start off with I tried looking at the second, Higgins and Boyd, but I could not play Chase over 78.5 for receiving yards. Longest reception 27.5. Some stats here from the playoffs. He's been averaging 93 yards per game. Longest reception average is 35.6. So I really like those for Chase. I realize they might try to double him, but I don't know if he's the type of athlete that can withstand that, and I think he's gonna get over his total there. So 78.5 for receiving yards and 26.5 on longest reception.
So I'll go next. I'm gonna disagree a little bit with that one, Nick. I've seen Ramsey, and he is as shut down as they get. And Chase has just been the big play monster that has been ruining it for people. Now, I know that the Rams are a little bit weak on safety. I believe Allen's out for the year, early January, but they should be getting a couple guys back. Weddle, actually, didn't he come off like retirement to come back and play for the Rams?
Yeah.
And he's actually doing really good. Taylor Rapp is who I'm thinking about. Taylor Rapp is a great safety right there. I think that Ramsey is going to be all over Jamar Chase, but I could be wrong, and Chase is definitely the best athlete on the Bengals, but it leads into my prop. I think that they're going to need a possession guy, and I know Uzoma is supposed to come back, but I think that's more like hype. Hey, he throws his knee brace, yeah, but then he's still limping around, right? If I could find an under on him, I'm probably going to attack it, but there's a lot of props not out because of that. Now, I think that Higgins is the possession guy. I think Higgins' height is great. I think you saw him last week play extremely well. He's been catching a lot of balls lately for this team, and especially if Uzoma's not going and if Chase is being shut down, I see Higgins over 5.5 catches. So I like Higgins over 5.5.
Yeah, he's had over that the past 2 games.
Yeah, 3 out of the last 5 he went over that. But this is a situation where it's him or nothing. If they're going to screw around and move those corners around, you could be right though, and Chase will break a big one. But I'm gunning for this one, and I think Cincinnati will be throwing the ball in the fourth quarter.
It's interesting. Right. Interesting with Cincinnati, they really have 2 number 1 receivers in Chase and Higgins. And then 2 years ago, Boyd was the guy who led them in receptions. So they have an embarrassment of riches there, and somebody's going over on them.
For sure.
I like Tyler Boyd over 3.5 receptions quite a bit. One of my favorite plays. He's certainly a possession receiver and a guy that doesn't really break a lot of big plays, but he had 67 receptions in the regular season. He hasn't had a big playoff so far, but I think that could be a little bit different with the way the Rams play defense. They're a little bit susceptible over the middle. Some of the linebackers not great in pass coverage. And like Kiev said, I'm not sure about Uzoma with, the injury. You wouldn't think that he'd be in very good shape. So I do like a Higgins over or a Boyd over the best here. I'm a little bit worried, Nick, about the Chase over. As a Bengals fan, I hope it wins because that would be great for the Bengals. But Ramsey is such a lockdown corner. I'm a little bit worried about that one. I do like Tyler Boyd over 3.5. I think Burrow wants to get rid of the ball quickly a lot here. We've seen a lot of those passes for 6 or 8 yards or 10 yards or something to Tyler Boyd. I think we'll see more of those this week than we have throughout the playoffs. So I like Boyd over 3.5 receptions.
What are your thoughts on any Rams receivers? Cooper Kupp has been averaging over 120 yards a game. His prop right now is 105, and I'll be the guy that takes all the over props for receivers. I'm taking over 1.5 or 105.5 for Cooper Kupp and over 28.5 for longest reception. And like I said, he's been averaging about 128 yards per game in the playoffs, 41.3 yards for longest reception. In the past 9 games, he's been averaging 121 yards per game and 40 yards per reception for the longest reception. So I know that's a high total, but I like Kupp. I mean, I don't know who's going to match up with him.
In Super Bowls, you throw to your best people. It's win or go home kind of thing. This is all that you want to win or lose throwing to your best targets. So a lot of these guys do go over in the Super Bowl. I do have one Ram prop since we've concentrated so much on Cincinnati, but I do want to comment on what you said about Tyler Boyd, Kyle, because he's low variance. I mean, it's 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 40, 40, 40 every week. Whatever you can do when you can match him up head to head and try to get some value one way or another. He's just so consistent. You know what you're getting. I'm going to go off the radar a little bit with one that I've really started to like, and that's with Van Jefferson. If you look at his yardage every single week, you'll find that they stretch the field with him. Sometimes they throw to him 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, not very much or whatever. But 13 of the last 15 games, he's had a reception that's been over 17 yards, over 18 yards, and 16 out of the last 20 games. So my play here for the group is that Van Jefferson, especially when we have tight end uncertainty. We don't even know if Higbee's going to play. If he's going to play, it looks like he's going to be so severely limited. Blanton's new to the table, new to the party. He's going to get some short stuff. I think Van Jefferson goes over the 17.5 longest reception. And here's where I say to everybody, read the small print in the prop. You want to know exactly what it says, because if he's not targeted for any reason, they may void the play and then no harm, no foul. When you play under on these guys, read the small print on the prop. But Van Jefferson is a guy I really like in this one.
I like it. Yeah. Who knows? The tight ends might just be decoys in this game.
I want to quick mention something. There's a good chance, well, a decent chance with the Rams, the way they've been playing defense, and look at what Cincinnati did to the Kansas City Chiefs the second half, that this is a low scoring game. That clock, if you're watching the playoffs, the first half just flies by. I mean, I could not believe, like, I was just like, I look at the clock, I'm like, geez, how is it going this fast? You know, these NFL clocks can tick, and these teams aren't like rushing to the line of scrimmage. Both of them are below average in plays per game. I mean, you might get a 20-9 game. You know, this could be completely to the under, like ridiculously. So that a lot of these overs scare me a little bit. I'm just going to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
There's a reason you're not seeing under touchdown stats or props right now. There's a reason for it, because the books are going to get slaughtered by them probably. You know, they're afraid to put them out right now. That's the one thing you're not seeing. It's only at least one, at least two, at least three, or over 0.5 or over 1, right? That's what you're getting on the over-under on these touchdown props. But a lot of books don't have the unders on those. And the reason is because the fear of some people jumping on them. I plan on hitting a ton of under touchdown props, minus 200, minus 300, whatever. I'm going to be looking for it in my portfolio, and I might not get it this year. I don't know. We'll see. Some of these props have been pretty sharp, but just keep in mind when you're building your portfolio of these props, you have to have some outs in case this game is a low-scoring game. Sometimes the running backs benefit a little bit and the receivers don't. If it's a high-scoring game, sometimes it's the opposite. So just kind of try to have some fail-safe in your mind without completely going away from your own narrative that you built in this Super Bowl story.
That's fantastic. That's an excellent point, because if you like the under, you have to be hitting those touchdown props under. Just the same way, if you like the Bengals, I think it's correlated to something like Stafford throwing an interception, because I think that's what, to win outright, I think Stafford's going to have to make a mistake. So it's a great point you made about how you balance and how you build your portfolio.
Thank you.
Well, that's an excellent segue into the defensive and special team props. I'll start this one with the obvious one. I feel like I'm giving out all the obvious ones here, but we'll go with Von Miller to get a sack, minus 150. I'm going to also throw Sam Hubbard to get a sack at plus 170. I mean, Hubbard's been playing well the past 3 games. I think he's led the Bengals in sacks in the playoffs. So he's definitely has more value than Hendrickson.
I love that one because I have the Bengals over 1.5 sacks. I laid a little juice on it, minus 150. So the big narrative is how bad the Bengals offensive line is, and that's why their number's sitting at 3.5 sacks. Well, that narrative is built into that number. 3.5 sacks, decent amount of sacks for a game, right? And Joe Burrow's going to know this. He's coming to this game knowing the weapons that they have. It might just be a lot of short passes that he throws, but it's Matt Stafford. He's made some mistakes. If he sometimes he goes down and slides, that's counted a sack. If someone touches you, if someone runs you out of bounds, it's a sack. If it's behind the line of scrimmage, 1.5 is low. I laid minus 150, so that's the first one I'm going to give out.
Okay, so I'll take one. Nick, I like Von Miller over. I haven't decided if I'm going to take the minus 150 or not. I hate that much juice, but it would surprise me if Miller doesn't get a sack in this game. I'll say that. I'm going to take Leonard Floyd to get a sack. I got plus 140 on this one. I think we see double teams on Aaron Donald. I think everybody expects that. But, you get a right tackle as bad as Isaiah Prince. Prince is not a good I saw him at Ohio State. I've seen him at the Bengals. Just have nightmares of him just, jumping false start penalty after false start penalty and allowing too much pressure. I think Leonard Floyd is a good value, plus 130, plus 140. And I do tend to agree with Nick that I think Von Miller over on the sack is a good play as well.
You have Hendrickson for Cincinnati, who's a sack artist. I think he had 14.5 in the regular season. He could get through. Stafford's going to have some deeper throws. That's what at least my research shows. So he's going to be in the pocket. There's a chance for a sack that way. I kind of approach the defensive and special teams props a little differently. I really look for middles because you can get these tackles and assists where one shop is going to have 4.5 and another shop's going to have 5.5. Or even whole numbers are good if you can find a 5 or a 6. You get different juices, you get free money situations. This is a Super Bowl. I like to have fun with that. And I'm really looking to pit one book against another and see if I can catch some free money that way. The only thing I'll mention, because we haven't talked about field goal kickers, I guess that's part of special teams. And McPherson's been so good, and the Rams are going to stop a lot of things. And maybe there's a sack that takes them into a fourth down and a field goal opportunity. So I took relatively early that McPherson would have over 1.5 made field goals for even money. The variance on this is really, it's been about minus 115 to minus 150 out there now. So I think even money was a good deal. But either way, I do think there's a better than average chance that McPherson and Cincinnati will be trying more kicks than the Rams will be, just because of the power of the Rams' inside defense.
To add to McPherson, and the books aren't allowing it anymore, but I did take a McPherson, just a fun 50-yarder plus at plus 140. I mean, he can definitely hit a 50-yarder, so that was just a fun one.
I like that. Can I throw one out and see what you guys think of it here? I saw there was a Bengals field goal, total yards of their field goals over under 60.5. So their field goals, 60.5 yards. I think over might be a good play on that one. And it sounds like that kind of correlates to what Ron's thinking as well. Mm-hmm. McPherson, they're not going to be afraid of trying long field goals with McPherson, especially at SoFi. Yeah. So, if you get a couple field goals here, there's likely to be one that's a shorter field goal at some point. We've seen Taylor be a little bit inconsistent on how aggressive he is on fourth down. Mm-hmm. So, at the same time, when you have a kicker as good as him, you can't blame him for taking the points in some occasions. So, Ron, I'm kind of wondering, what do you think of Bengals total yards of their field goals, 60.5?
First of all, the stadium plays I've been in the stadium twice. So it plays to great weather conditions. So there's not going to be a problem trying a 50-yarder, trying a 45-yarder, or whatever. If they do bog down in the red zone, that could be 2 25-yard field goals, and that wouldn't work. So I'd be curious to know what the juice is on that. Are you laying 115? Or are you getting plus money? What the case is on that. I'd probably lean more to the 1.5 than the over 60. Because you need 2 unless he's going to hit 162-yarder.
Which he could.
And end of half situations, 3 seconds left, end of the first half, you're going to try one of those.
Man, I haven't seen this much McPherson love since Legatron, man.
I know. The rookie. All right, guys. Do we have anything else? We can get into MVP. I have 2 MVPs. You want to start this one, Kiev?
Yeah, yes. And I did this one before, and I still like it, and I like the value of it. If you guys think history repeats itself, it happens a hell of a lot to me, especially when I'm driving. But it's just there's experienced people in the Super Bowl, and those people have been there before. There's less nerves, and if this whole narrative on the Rams defense holds true, then I think that Von Miller at 50-1 is a dang good value here, because if it is that 17-7 type game, right, it might be a credit to the defense. He forces fumbles. Burrow is still young. He could have 3 sacks this game, and it's a low-scoring game, a game of field goals. They're going to not give it. I would highly doubt they're going to give the MVP to McPherson. If they do, this is going to be a worldwide record. But 50-1 on Von Miller here. A lot of people are going towards Aaron Donald, and when Aaron Donald opened up, it was at between 16-1, 20-1. Now it's down to 5.5-1, 7-1. That is ridiculous. You have to remember, he is still an interior defensive lineman that gets double teamed by the guard and the tackle many times. Do the Rams stunt him sometimes? Yeah, they'll stunt him, and that helps. But at the same time, he's taken away 2 blocks. It's Von Miller coming around the edge to get him. And to be honest with you, what Kyle said about Floyd, that's a sneaky one too. I didn't take Floyd, but I might be sprinkling a little bit on the other defensive end here because he would be a massive payday. But who cares? $5, $10. Have some fun with it. But I think that there's no clear cut other than the quarterbacks. And if you don't like the quarterbacks in a low scoring game, Von Miller at 50-1 is what I like.
We'll go to you next, Ron. Who do you like?
I don't really do the MVPs because I think there's a lot of juice. There's a lot of hold by the books on these. And so I'm not typically involved in that. Now, my question to Kyle and to the rest of the panel here is, if Cincinnati wins, is there anybody else besides Joe Burrow that has a chance to be the MVP?
Yeah, Ron, this is exactly what I was going to say too. So you beat me to the punch here. What are you seeing? Plus 225 in general. I've seen plus 230, plus 240 on Burrow. I was going to say, if you like the Bengals in this game, you have to take Burrow to win the MVP. Mm-hmm. You could even just take Burrow to win the MVP instead of taking the Bengals plus 170. Mm-hmm. I think that makes a lot of sense. It would be extremely hard for someone else to win the MVP based on how this playoffs have gone. Burrow would have to play terribly. McPherson kicks 6 field goals or something like that.
I'm sure he's going to be played. People are going to be playing McPherson.
Right. It's just, but I totally agree with Ron's thought process there. I mean, Burrow is extremely likely to be the MVP if the Bengals win this game. Nick, Kiev, do you agree?
I'm 100% with you. I don't see it going any other way. If he has a bad game, the Bengals aren't going to win. So, I like Cooper Kupp. 600 plus 600. I think if Stafford throws 2 or 3 picks and Kupp comes away with 100 plus yards and 2 touchdowns, there's good value in that. You could say if he throws 2 or 3 picks, just like Kyle said, maybe the Bengals end up winning, but I see the value in Kupp there over Stafford.
Nick's gonna be wearing a Cooper Kupp jersey.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I know.
It's already in the mail. Yeah.
That's one of the rules in terms of this portfolio is look it over Saturday night and make sure you're not too top heavy in any one position. You say, wait a second, I've got more on this than I have on 3 games during the regular season.
Right. Yeah, don't play too much on these props. It's just one game.
Yeah.
Have fun with it.
Yeah.
Any other MVP props from you guys?
Yeah. Anything else from anybody else? Specialty props? Anything you want to throw out for fun that you saw?
I have a few of those, and you can't get big limits down on them. $25 is limited at my bookie and some of the other places, BetUS and things like that. But I'm going to go that the Gatorade bath, and I got burned on the color last year because Tampa Bay is an orange color, and there's blue Gatorade, which is the worst tasting Gatorade in the whole spectrum. So I have no idea how the hell that happened. But you would think that the Rams would have blue or possibly lime green Gatorade. But I think the bath happens before the game ends, and it's minus 160. So my theory on this is you have a spread of -4, right? -4 spread is telling you that is not a last second type of game. And there's a very good chance that there's going to be clocking it out. Somebody's going to be taking a knee. So just the spread itself tells me that there's some value in that. Next, teams hate waiting for the last second because at the last second, the coaches all run out to the field and everyone gets on the field. You can't really do the bath that well. It's you're bouncing off people's heads, not going to feel short guys over. It's just absolute pandemonium that going out there with that big Gatorade bath. So I laid minus 160 just for fun. So I like that one. I got crazy ones for you guys.
Ron, do you have anything?
Well, on Kiev's, I like his because the last 6 games were so close that maybe you got some value because everything's coming down to the wire and teams aren't winning until the last play. So if somebody does not win on the last play, I think minus 160 is tremendous value. I think the only thing I did on this one, it's long gone. A friend of mine talked to me, said, hey, Snoop Dogg, he does whatever he wants. I don't know much about him except for I saw him on the Manning cast, and he was quite articulate. I really liked him, and I think he's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Bengals, but the fact that he could smoke on stage or not smoke on stage, I don't think it's up to the rules. I think it's up to him. Yeah, and it's open plus 250. Then it went to plus 190. I took like he have said, low limits, and that was fine with me. I really don't want to have a huge position on it, but I thought there was value early on with the Snoop Dogg. I'll look at those a little bit later, but.
Oh my God! I hope
like
it's smoking a J for you, dude. Why not? That'd be awesome. I mean, it's in California. Yeah. That's kind of how they roll.
They won't care.
The narrative is really leaning your way here for that. I actually took a Snoop Dogg prop too. Plus 250 that he's not wearing anything Rams. Now, I don't think that matters if he's wearing the colors of Rams, but here's the thing. Yeah, he hates Cincinnati, the team that sucked for the last 40 years in his division. Yeah, he's really mad as a Steelers fan to be dogging Cincinnati. Probably not, And so I'm going to erase that narrative right now. And I'm also going to say that this is the Super Bowl here. There's enough pressure going against him. I don't think he's going to want to wear a Rams jersey. I know he likes Odell Beckham, but I don't think he's going to come out there with an actual Rams jersey here and just, support him in this big a game. In a regular season game, sure. But in this case, he is a Steelers fan. So if he's wearing a Rams jersey, he's going to get a lot of flack from his Steelers buddies. Be like, what kind of fair weather fan are you? I don't know if he's going to care about it, but at plus 250, yeah, I'll take it.
Kiev, are there any odds that he's going to come out with a Steelers jersey?
No, I didn't see that, but I'll contact Raf on my bookie and see if we'll throw that one out for you.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't have anything yet on the specialty props. I haven't really looked at these too much. The only thing I want to say is I almost need to mute this word on Twitter or something, because I get frustrated by people who say the coin toss, heads or tails. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you can look through now and see minus 115, minus 110, things like that. I mean, if you're betting this, you should stop betting in general. It's just that bad. I've seen people promoting reduced juice minus 105. You don't want minus 105 on the coin toss either. Mm-hmm. So just a PSA there. Don't bet on the coin toss.
Yeah. If you're going to bet this, just look who's sitting next to you on the couch and throw $5 or $10 at him.
Yeah.
Be nicer.
Yeah. Next beer is on you, heads or tails.
Right,
that's all.
Right.
Yeah. There you go. They're flipping coins.
This game for me is there's such set lineups in this game. There's only so many people Cincinnati throws to. There's only so many people the Rams throw to. There's only two uncertainties for me at all in this game. What's going to happen with the tight ends on both sides? And this new variable of Henderson, the running back coming in for the Rams, because he could steal carries from, let's say, Sony Michel, or steal receptions because he has that kind of versatility. Do you guys have anything else that's uncertain for you? Because for me, it's just the tight ends and Henderson, and everything else is known.
Well, I would say about the Chase, we already talked about it with Ramsey. If he's not on Chase the whole game, that's a variable that would favor Chase more, and I'd be happy for that. If that happens.
That could happen if T. Higgins just lights it up. They might switch him.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, their other cornerback is his name Johnson. Ron, I can't remember. I think he's only 5'8". So
yeah, and they use the safeties to protect these cornerbacks other than Ramsey. So they're going to go over the top on them, which means they'll allow the reception, but hopefully not the long pass.
Right. It's I'm trying to. I can't remember his. The other, I think it's Darius Williams was the other.
Johnson was there last year. I think he got traded or free agency.
Okay. Yeah, Darius Williams, 5'9", which means 5'7", 187 pounds, is going to be guarding Tyler Higbee. So, T. Higgins. So there you go. T. Higgins. That's another reason why I like the Higgins prop. But you're right. If Darius Williams gets shifted over to Jamar Chase, quick slant, boom, gone, possible.
Well, I have a quick question for the panel here. So Cooper Cup, we've talked about him a lot. Nick likes a lot of his overs. Who do we think is going to be defending Cooper Cup most of the time for the Bengals? Because Eli Apple gets put in the slot very often,
Oh,
but
God.
Eli Apple is going to get roasted by by Cooper Cup if they can't put Eli Apple on him consistently. So
Eli
I don't
Apple's
know
mouth.
what you said.
Eli Apple's
Yeah.
mouth is a lot bigger than what
Oh
he actually does on the
gosh,
field, isn't
yeah,
it?
Oh,
yeah,
my
absolutely.
goodness.
He had the one good play with the tackle right by the end zone against the Chiefs, but he's consistently getting beat. I can't imagine the Bengals are just going to be like, "That's fine, we'll just leave Eli Apple in the slot here." I don't know. I mean, Awuzie is a really good corner, but he's not used to playing the slot receiver. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see who the Bengals have up against Cooper Cup because that could be a big problem.
My theory would be if Higgins, I'm sorry, if Tyler Higbee's out, Higgins, I keep getting these guys freaking backwards. But if he's out, they might even throw the safety over the top in most cases and just try to stop the big play. Because if you look at all Cooper Cup's yards, there was a lot of like massive plays, like 40 yards, 70 yards in these games, and big touchdowns. So I wouldn't be surprised if they sacrifice a safety, at least just to keep them honest in a way, right?
Yep.
That's why I like Van Jefferson, because they're going to have to do something to protect Eli Apple, because he's so vulnerable that he could give up that big play. What I don't understand is why NFL teams, especially if they're going to have safety over the top, why don't they just jam Cooper Cup at the line of scrimmage and take him off rhythm? Because he runs such precise routes. He's not a speed burner, but he knows where he's going. He knows how to juke a guy out. But nobody's jamming these guys at the line of scrimmage. And if I were Cincy, I would do that.
Agree.
What are your guys' thoughts about this? I heard this week about the kickoff. 24 out of the last 26 kickoffs have been returned. So only
I don't like that stat because it's actually 27. And if you look, it's only been 9 years since they moved it from the 30 to the 35. So you have to keep in mind that it was most of those stats was when it was a longer kick. Okay. Some of those Super Bowls were not in stadiums like SoFi that's a lot more protected from the wind, right? So you have to remember that. Now, I lean that it's going to not be a touchback right now, but it's getting expensive. I know Ron's got a great price on this one too, and congrats on that. I think you get like plus 130. I looked at
it was plus 129. I know these are weird lines, but that's what books do. Some of them.
That was a wonderful line, but now I looked at it today, and it was minus 110, and so. In my opinion, I could see it happening both ways. I'll take plus money all day on Ron's side, and on the side that there's not a touchback. But at the same time, if I'm a kicker, my scariest thing in my mind is I kick it to the guy that's returning a touchdown, right?
and does it make a difference if it's McPherson versus is it Gay?
Gay,
right?
Gay's a little injured from what I heard. So
right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what their strategy is on this, but there's a lot of adrenaline in that first kick too. But the odds all changed once the word got out that ball was preserved for the Hall of Fame and it's not rubbed in at the beginning and stuff like that. The whole narrative of all that changed. So I'm not in love with the play. I'm just in love with the value. That's all.
Yeah.
Great value.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was a great number there. We'll probably see this line keep moving even more before the kickoff too, because of the narrative. So that ship has sailed at this point.
Yeah.
That's awesome, guys. Do we have anything else on our list there? That's it for me.
I think that's it for me too.
Okay.
Yeah, well, not much. Enjoy the game. Bet responsibly. You don't have to drink responsibly if you're at home, but
especially you, Kyle.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I do want to bring up Sports Wagering University. We have a new class that will be starting here. What do we have? 2 weeks? About 11 days, I think. On the 22nd, we're starting the college basketball course, which will be taught by none other than Kyle Hunter, Kiev, will be in that as well, and a couple others. So check out Sports Wagering University. It's sportswageringu.com. And I have it wrong down there on the ticker. It's sportswageringu.com. And on Twitter and TikTok at sportswageru. So, guys, check that out. Anything else you want to add, Kyle? Kiev?
I'm looking forward to it. Always fun to work with you guys, and looking forward to doing that with Kiev for the college basketball class. Hopefully we can get quite a few people in there, get some questions, and have a nice community feel there for that. Sports Wagering University is going to be a fun project. Hopefully we can help a lot of people. And guys, best of luck on all your props this weekend. Appreciated the chat here with all you guys.
Yeah, and thanks for including me too. It's so great to network with people that are knowledgeable in this field, that add value to this field. I've seen your guys' work. You do wonderful things, and I'm looking forward to continuing this along the, over the course of the next year and even before the next football season for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you,
Big
everyone.
asset.
Thanks, Ron.
All right, guys, enjoy the game and check out Sports Wagering University.